Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Unique Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about, because you know that's what your girl is all about. So if this is your first time tuning into my channel, I'm your girl Unique Speaks, and I would love for you to hit that like button, comment down below that this is your first time here, just so I can say hello to you, girl. Hey, and if you're one of my brothers, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I just want to say that down there in the comment section. But also, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll know every time that I upload a video. All right, so let's get into the video.
It's your girl Unique Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about. It's your girl Unique Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about, because it's what your girl is all about. It's your girl Unique Speaks.
Hey y'all, so this video is going to be all about looking for your first apartment, okay? I am a property manager. That is my full-time job. To do this video just so if you happen to be looking for any apartment, or you're looking for a rental home even, I want to give you some tips. I want to give you some nuggets. I want to give you some stuff that you can think about when you're looking for your next home, okay? Not to be settling for no anything, and what to be looking for on the applications. What type of questions do you need to be asking when you're looking for your next apartment? So let your girl Unique Speaks help you. So stay tuned to this video. I'm going to go into my office and I'm going to be asking myself some questions that I know that other people ask all the time when they're you out. So like I said before, please comment down below if you're looking for an apartment, if you've been searching for an apartment, or you're going to be looking for one in the future and this is something good that you want to know. If there's anything else you want to know about searching for an apartment, or anything you want to pick a property manager's brain about, please comment down below. I got you.
But for right now, this video is aimed towards you looking for your first apartment, or just looking for an apartment in general, okay? This is straight from the property manager's desk, and I just think these are some great tips that you should have in place, just so you can make sure you got all your ducks in a row when you're ready to really move. All right, so first thing you need to worry about is put in a 60-day notice. If you are living somewhere and you know you're going to get ready to move, please put in a notice in writing. Make sure you get a copy. Make sure that somebody's signing that they have acknowledged that you put in a notice to vacate, okay? Now, 60 days is very important, because that's just for anyone who's living in an apartment lease. Some says 30, that's the standard, but then you have some that says 60. You can never go wrong with putting a 60-day notice, even if it's required to do 30, okay? Also start 60 days in advance if you're looking for your first apartment. I am asking you to do this because I take phone calls all the time, and I have to kind of coach the conversation along a little bit, which that is our job, right? We're here to service you, but you don't want to get played, because see, you never know who the lease consultant that you're going to be talking to that could play on your naiveness. You know, is that a word, naiveness? 60 days in advance, start preparing. And I want to give you some tips on what you're going to be doing in those 60 days, okay? So stay tuned. So for the first thing you want to do when you're looking for an apartment, because I got me some notes, y'all, because I'll be all over the place, y'all know that. So the first thing you want to do, you want to get a notepad. Why you want to get a notepad? Because you need to write down all this information. You're looking for a place to live, so you want to make sure that you write down everything they about to tell you. And this is also a starter thing for you to do, because you can write down everything that I'm about to tell you even right now, okay? So number one, get a notebook, a moving notebook, a notepad, anything, but let it be designated just for your moving process. So number two, you want to know what area do you want to move into. Once you know what type of area you want to move into, then you have at least a good ballpark of the area. You kind of got a good synopsis of what's in that area, what's going to be attracting you, your scenery, activities, anything like that. So definitely know what type of area you want to go to. So that'd be the first thing I would write in my notebook. I would write in my notebook what area, what city, or whatever the case may be, wherever I want to live in. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to write down in your book, because that's very important. The next thing you want to worry about, number 3, is write down what you're looking for. Are you looking for a 1-bedroom? Are you looking for a 2-bedroom? A 2-bedroom with 2 bathrooms? bath or 1.5 bath, or do you want a townhouse? You got to know what you're looking for. It will make your search so much easier. I mean, I can't express that enough. How many phone calls I get, and the first thing they ask me, what's your availability? Well, what are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to take those phone calls, but however, I have a job to do, so I have to take those phone calls. But it's just better when you just can know what that person is looking for, and I'm able to aim for your need instead of me just telling you what I got. I got 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. They're all different prices. They're all different floor plans, different square footages. So it's just, either you're going to get clouded with all of this information that you really didn't even call to ask for. So it's really important to know to ask the right questions, know exactly what you're looking for, and write down what you're looking for. So when you call, you ain't all over the place. You know exactly what you're looking for. What's your budget and how much you willing to pay in rent, okay? Just in rent. And I say that in 2 different ways, because you first want to know your budget. How much you are already spending on yourself, your gas, your groceries, and you can't change that about your lifestyle. And because you don't want to move into an apartment where you have to change your whole entire lifestyle, then that means you can't afford to live there. Okay, so especially if this is your first time looking for an apartment, please write down what your budget is currently. That way you can add in and know what you can spend and so forth and so forth, okay? Say for instance, hey, I just kind of spend sporadically, I don't have a budget right now, and then you want to work around your rent and then come up with your budget, that's fine too. Just know how much are you willing to pay on your rent. Please keep in mind when you're thinking about how much am I willing to pay in rent, ask yourself, do I make at least 2 to 3 times of what I want to pay in my rent? Because that is an important factor. Not only is for you, so you feel comfortable that you make enough money to pay that rent, but also it's going to be a requirement for wherever you go. Number 5 for me is, what are your deal breakers? Everybody got a deal breaker. If you know that you don't want to live in a high-rise building, or in a building that you have to know that you have to carry all your furniture up an elevator or some stairs, or there is no direct access to your door. I mean, there's a lot of deal breakers for me, because I know that I don't like to carry a lot of stuff. And I also got to think, when I come home, I'm going to have to take all my groceries, and then I'm going to have to buy this just so it makes it convenient. I mean, this is a lot of things that are deal breakers. Write down your deal breakers. Deal breakers could be how much the rent is. It could be how many utilities you have to pay for. It could be the parking areas. It could be storage. It could be whatever. If you're looking for something very specific to be in the location where you live or inside of your apartment and they don't have it, you need to write that down as a deal breaker, because that's something that you either gonna settle and you're gonna be unhappy for that whole year, or you ain't gonna rent there. I mean, just go somewhere else, because that's a deal breaker. Start getting boxes. Okay, this is still within our 60 days, y'all. Still within your 60 days. Make sure you start racking up on boxes, because it's hard. It's hard out here in these streets trying to get some boxes. It's also hard trying to find somebody to help you move. That's just my opinion. So there's been some tips that I used to do when I used to move so much, because I did move a lot. I would go to Walmart, like in the midnight, or what's another place? Like sometimes Sam's during the day. You can go to Sam's or I can go shop there. Go to Walmart, go to Lowe's, Home Depot, go to the U-Haul place. Start getting you some boxes. That's basically what I'm saying, because it's going to be hard. You don't know what you're moving yet, but if you're moving like I moved, where I have a full house, had kids by now, I need boxing. You need to start boxing up things room by room, because you don't want to wait till the day of move in or the day your lease is ended and you got to be out at a certain time. You don't want that to catch you at the wrong time. So 60 days is a great start for getting boxes, preparing your move, where you're going, and all that other good stuff. You have children. Look at the school zones, okay? Because see, I'm in a small little Augusta. There's only like one good school zone here. That's so true. There's literally only one good school zone here. So therefore, for the area that I want to move into, it's very expensive. So I already know that I can't move into the area where there's great schools. I'm talking about schools, that really pay attention to your children. They got good high scores on their, end of the year schools, testings and stuff like that. Like, That's where I want to be. But you know, that's something I really think about when you have kids. But if you don't have kids, then you can X out number 7, and we're gonna jump right on. Documentations needed to apply. I think you need to go ahead and gather your stuff. If you have children, 9 times out of 10, if it's a conventional property or it's a HUD property or it's a tax credit property, there are so many types of properties out there. You don't even know where you're going until you actually apply and you start hearing about their qualifications and things they're going to be asking you for. 9 times out of 10, they're going to want social security cards, and for children, they're going to want birth certificates. So these are things that you want to have on hand, and if you don't feel comfortable taking your original documents out, they're going to make a copy, okay? But if you feel comfortable going and making some copies, then do that. But 9 times out of 10, like a person like me, I want to see the original. Why? Because that is the way that I know that you're giving me proper documentation. So I would get a folder, and with your notebook, have all of those documentations in there. Your ID, your driver's license, if your ID, driver's license, social security card, birth certificates. You even want a divorce decree in there, because you never know if they want to count your income. I'm a tax credit property, so I have to count for all income. So if you have been divorced in the last 2 years, I got to see that divorce decree just to make sure there's no alimony being received. If you are a child, you have children, and you want to make sure, on our end, we're going to make sure that you do not have child support. So we got to verify that too. And that's income. That is income. Only thing that I believe a lot of communities don't count is food stamps. But I would have everything in that folder that, as far as documentations go, that I'm going to need to prove everything that I'm going to put on this application. I'm going to verify my rental, I'm going to verify my income, I'm going to verify everything that I've said. So that's just some good nuggets to have, because those are across the board things that you're going to need to look for.
All right, so Ashley is going to ask me some questions. Some questions I really think are really important that you should be asking when you're calling apartment community or visiting that apartment community that you're interested in, okay? So here's the first question.
All right, you guys. The first question that I usually would ask is, what are the requirements of renting an apartment here?
Yes, so that is a really, really good question. Knowing the qualifications is a really good thing. If that's one of your first questions, it will help you guide you in your next question sometimes. Qualifications could lead from credit to credit screenings, your credit score, accounts on your credit. Everybody have different criterias when it comes to the credit. A lot of people want to call and say, hey, my credit score is like 500 or 700. Can I get in? Those factors don't matter to certain properties, especially like mine. It's going to be looking at what type of accounts you have on your credit score, if you have good payment history, or what type of status that account is in. So that could be automatically denial. And it's also going to check for criminal history. You know, they're going to check for criminals. They have different standards, 5 years, 2 years. Convictions, or the type of your status of your criminal status. So it's just different things that will knock you completely out the ballpark before you can even ask how much the rent is. So that's really.
All right, question number 2 is, what is the usual length of a lease agreement?
Okay, really good question. That is a good question, because there's so many different standards out here. Just across the world. Different apartment communities have 12-month leases. Some will even extend to a 15-month past that, and sometimes they can get a little bit more expensive, or they can get a little bit cheaper the longer the lease that you have. There are some properties that have short-term leases where if you only need to stay for about 2 months, 6 months, maybe even 8 months. So in those different terms of that lease does change how much you're going to pay on your rent. So just keep that in mind of what type of lease term you want to do, and just know that it could adjust how much you pay monthly.
And question number 3 is, what type of security does the apartment have?
Great question. But don't get discouraged if the property manager or the leasing consultant answers that question, or doing your own type of research, because we provide an environment for all to rent that qualifies here.
So we would ask you to, reach out to the local police department, and maybe they'll release that information for the crime in this area. Don't get discouraged with that answer, because due to fair housing, there is not going to be one apartment community staff that be able to clearly answer that question for you. But you want to know, what type of security do you have on property, or what things did you put in place for our safety? Now that's a different question, because the crime and the security is totally different. You just want to make sure you're asking the right questions and kind of dig a little deep so we'll understand what you're asking. So I like to say, for my property, I do have security on site. I may have cameras or something like that.
Okay, our next question. How long has the apartments been located in that particular location?
That's a really good question, but I also want Ashley to include why she asked that question, because when she dialogued with me on why she asked that question, it made a lot of sense, although it already makes sense to me, but I want y'all to hear it so y'all can see how important that question is going to be for you to ask.
So I asked this particular question because I always want to know if an apartment is going to be up to date, or is there going to be a lot of work that needs to be put into my apartment. So I wanted to know if my amenities are going to be up to date. Am I going to be getting a lot of issues with like plumbing or issues with like electricity? So I always ask this question whenever I move into an apartment, so I can just get a better understanding of, am I getting an up-to-date apartment, or something that's going to have a lot of work?
Exactly. That is the reason why you want to ask that question. There's a pros and cons on being on a brand new property. There's a pros and cons of being on a very old property. For my opinion, just with bugs. That's my opinion. And I mean, if you built your first home, because you might be watching this and I might be giving out some good nuggets for your kids, and you built your home from ground up or whatever, you already know you disturbed the environment. Okay, you disturbed the whole Mother Nature's way of grooming herself. Okay, so them ants is coming, them spiders is coming, everything finna come out. Okay, and that's the same with apartment community. They're using up more land. 9 times out of 10, that land had nothing but trees and debris on it. They had to be cleared out for this brand new spanking apartment community. You like, oh, I'm the first renter in this apartment. Oh, I'm the first one taking the bath. Oh, I'm the first one cooking in this kitchen. But you may have to deal with some little pest issues, just a little bit. It takes a good maybe 3 to 5 years for a property to be built before it to settle into its ground, and for most of the insects to realize that their home has been completely disturbed and it's not coming back. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The pros and cons for me for an old building is just like Ashley was saying, that you're going to be dealing with plumbing issues, maybe electrical issues. Things are just not going to work properly because it's just an old building. And so I think that's a really important thing to think about. If you want that new thing, just make it new, but don't be the first one to rent. I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. And if you want to go to an older property, just make sure you ask what type of management team and to think some of the upgrades they have done on their property.
Speaking of management team, that was the last but the most important question. How is the management team here at our apartment locations?
That is so important. Why? You gotta live here, honey. Okay? So if you go somewhere and they give you an attitude just because you walk through that door, I'm gonna need you to turn around and go back. Okay? Don't rent there. Because you are given the first-hand experience of what your whole 12 months, the 15 months, or whatever, how long your lease is, what you're going to be dealing with. Don't be fooled. Now, you may really want to live at that nice property because they have absolutely every amenity that you would want. But you're not going to enjoy anything about that community if you got a nasty team in that office. And I'm just being honest. I have worked with a lot of different teams, a lot of different companies, and they're all different. And trust me, I was one of those leasing consultants. When you walked in and I was having a bad day, I was like, oh my God, how can I help you today? And I'm just being honest. Like, if anybody say they didn't do that, they lying to you. I'm just saying. I am just one of those ones that if I had a bad day, I just be like, hey, how you doing? And yeah, I don't need you to walk right back out the door. I don't need you not to rent there. I don't even need you to leave your information, honey. Run! But Another important thing to know about the management team is that how long have they been there? Okay, if you go to apartment community and they say they just got there, you want to know how long at least the manager been there, at least. Or if the manager ain't been there that long, well, how long the assistant manager been there? Okay, well, how about the maintenance supervisor? Somebody better be on this team that's been here past the 6 months, because there's an issue there. That means there's a high turnaround and the corporate office has no control of their property. That's exactly what that means. So y'all, I hope I gave y'all all the information you need when you're looking for your next apartment or your first apartment. Please, please, please share this video. Comment down below if I missed something. Comment down below if I lied to you about something. Comment down below if I'm your new best friend. Comment down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. I really appreciate y'all watching this video. I really hope it's helpful to you or your family or your friends who are looking for an apartment community or a new home or anywhere. I'm here for you. I'm a property manager. I've been doing this for about 13 years. I absolutely love it, but it's not for everybody. But at the same time, I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, just comment, or you can hit me in my inbox on Instagram or Facebook. Look for Uniq Speaks on all your platforms, and I'll be right there. See you next time.
It's your girl Uniq Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about.